The key is teach cause and effect and then be consistent. This is the most important thing. Whatever you're teaching your child, as far as sign language goes, communication, when they're the youngest especially, they have to learn, when I do this, this is what happens. Every time that I sign this, I get this. Oh, okay, there's a connection here, so if I do this, then I get this. And then to be consistent with that, don't sometimes do it and other times not do it. After they understand that what it is that they're doing, they might want to show it off, and let them do that. But when they're brand new little ones just learning that this means milk, right? You don't say, okay, all right, show Jacs how to say milk. They're going to say, think in their minds, there's no milk here, you know, or they're going to do it, and then when they don't get milk, they're going to be really mad, you know, rightfully so. So you teach them the action, reaction, cause and effect, and you do it over and over and over again, and they get it. And that's how you drill it into their little minds. As I was saying, you must give the children, especially the babies, context when you're first teaching them. Okay? Don't have them sign bottle or milk or nurse or whatever it is that you call it if it's not there. Only do that. Do that every time that you give your child the bottle, every time that you want to nurse or whatever, so that they can then understand this connection. And then, like I said before, if they want to show it off, then fine, once they already have it. If your goal is verbal communication, speech, speak the words as you sign them. This will help your baby associate the concept, the sign, and the word all together. So, do you want a bottle? Do you want a bottle? Right? So I'm saying bottle, bottle, as well as doing this, and then I'm actually showing. So, if you're wanting your child to understand that this is all the same concept, for you to say, do you want a bottle? Do you want a bottle? So I'm saying the word bottle, I'm signing milk, right? And then I give them the bottle every single time that I do it. They're going to start making this connection. That's how it starts. This is if your goal is verbal communication. If your goal is for your child to become bilingual, because you are bilingual, or you will be bilingual, you must clearly separate languages but utilize them equally at home. Okay, so if you combine them, the little one will be confused, not understanding that they're two different languages. My office mate, her name is Uta, and she was born and raised in Austria. She's the German instructor here. And she married an American here who does not speak German. And they have a little girl who is completely bilingual, 100%. Uta only talks to her daughter in German. Her dad only talks to her in English. When Sophia is her name, when Sophia is around other German speakers, like native speakers, which she is often, several times a year, as well as several of Uta's friends, she speaks effortlessly. And then she'll switch very, very quickly into English. So, maybe a month ago, little Sophia was in my office, came in, and she was with Uta and talking to Uta, full sentences, full in German. Then she turns to me, "Hi Jacs, can I play with your finger puppets?" You know, full sentence in English. It was amazing. I'm fascinated with the process. But I believe that the reason is that both languages are used consistently and separately in the home. Uta does not use kind of a German-English mix. She uses German only with Sophia. And Sophia knows that her mom can speak English because she's seen her do that. But even in my office, Ute will speak to me in English, but still speak to Sophia in German. And so Sophia can now communicate with native speakers effortlessly and finds it very empowering, and that she's so sophisticated that she knows 2 languages, that she's bilingual. So this is how you would do it if you do want your child to be bilingual, or even just proficient in the language. You need to keep the languages separate. Consistency is important. Be patient. It's common for babies to not react to your signing, then all of a sudden sign everything back to you. It happens different for all babies. So I have a nephew who is 5 now. His name is Nolan. This is his name sign. The reason this is his name sign is because this is how you say why. And he is always, why, why, why? And so this is an N, Nolan, asking why all the time. He's adorable. And that was given by a deaf person. It's legit name sign. Anyway, he was the first grandchild. And so he was the first nephew of mine to be around. He's actually my husband's brother's child. Anyway, he was a beautiful guinea pig for me that he very quickly opened up to. And he was very much true to this statement that was already here, by the way. That they were doing it consistently, he was watching, he seemed to be kind of paying attention, but was never putting anything back, wasn't even mimicking hardly. And then truly overnight, something happened, like he was ready, and he just started putting stuff out, making all these attempts, understanding, wanting more, and then soaking it up. And then he used baby sign language wonderfully, and did so very effectively. It was great for his whole development. That he was actually a bit bored with children his age until he was about 5, because he was ahead of them, most of them linguistically speaking. He could communicate at a deeper level than a lot of his peers. And I, of course, some of that is strictly personality. Some of that is because his parents were very active in educating him and making everything a game. But of course, I think that the #1 reason is because he used sign language. And so, and him and I were buds. We're BFFs. Note, it is also common for babies to go through phases. This is something that books sometimes forget to tell parents, videos forget to tell parents, and they shouldn't forget to tell parents. Signing one sign over and over again, and then stopping, then acting like he or she doesn't know the sign, and then sign something else. Also for children to just, no, I'm not going to speak it, I'm only going to sign it. And then, I'm only going to speak it, I don't know the sign. They're going to go through these natural phases, and a lot of times parents will get really scared because they think that the child is, oh no, they're signing, they're not speaking. I'm saying, nuh-uh, you gotta say it, and they're refusing to do it, they're only signing it. What they're doing is they're trying to make the connection of, when I say bottle versus do this, do I get the same result? That's all that they're doing. So they're gonna go through, nope, I don't know how to say it, when you know they know how to say it. And same with the sign. They're going to not sign it. They're only going to say bottle. It's like, well, come on, say it with your hands. And they won't do it. This is normal. It's part of development. Don't be afraid that that's actually hindering their speech development, because it's not. It is important to note also, though, when talking about speaking earlier, is that usually you'll hear some horror story about, well, I know so-and-so's granddaughter, or so-and-so's niece, or whatever, who used sign language and then they were delayed with their speech. Well, because this has been proven conclusively the opposite of true, we have to keep in mind that some children just speak later than others. There are some slow talkers. That happens. And how I view that is that, thank goodness they have some means to communicate because otherwise they wouldn't, and there's a lot of information that would be missed otherwise. But sign language has been proven to only enhance this. This is not something that could ever harm the development of a child's language. So when to begin? The rule of thumb is 6 months old, or even more when they start waving bye-bye. That means that they have enough of the dexterity as well as the cognitive understanding. Oh, they're leaving, so I'm going to wave bye-bye. That's usually the rule of thumb. I always say, you know your baby, teach them when they're ready to learn. You know, it's going to be different for everybody. It's different circumstances. When you see your child hungry for information, hungry for language, then teach them. You can't hurt them by teaching them too early, and you can't hurt them by teaching too late. Just do it when they're ready, and do it so that it works. The most common age for hearing babies to start using baby signs is about a year old. So often I'll meet with parents and they'll say, well, my child is already 9 months or 12 months old, is that too late? No, that's probably the most common age that they start doing it. And that's when the little ones are starting to become really interactive, so they'll actually see consistent progress. Whereas when they're really little, they're not going to see that kind of progress, and so because the parents are not getting reinforced, they a lot of times will stop doing it. So it's most common around a year old for the hearing babies. The most common age for babies exposed to ASL as a complete language is 6 months old. So if I were to have a child and I were to only sign to my child, my husband is only speaking to my child, most likely my child would start using sign language at age 6 months old. We see this a lot with deaf parents with their hearing children or deaf children, and also with CODAs, child of a deaf adult. That means that a person who has deaf parents, that a lot of times, because that was their first language, that's what they want to teach their children first. And they start signing at age 6 months too. And if you think about it, when do little ones start saying their first words? It's different for every child, but usually in 9 months is around the age that they'll start saying clear words, not just making noises. So 6 months is pretty young and significant.